if we could ask Mr. Byron to lead us in prayer, please, sir.
Would everybody please bow their heads and close their eyes? Our Heavenly Father, we come to you right now, my Father, to say thank you. We thank you, my Father, because you allowed us to see another day. And then, my Father, we thank you because you kept your loving arms of protection around us as we maneuvered during the day, my Father. I ask for prayers for everybody understanding my voice, my Father. And then, my Father, I ask for prayers for my family and any family that's going through the hour of bereavement right now, my Father. Touch them, give your grace, your love, and always keep your loving arm of protection around them, my Father. Ask that we do this decent and in order so we can do the right things for the city crowd, my Father. We ask all this in our daughter's son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Alderman Reggie, you want to lead us in the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. If y'all don't mind, we have some people here for zoning and annexation, so Alderman Reggie, if you want to take up zoning and annexation first so that we can handle their business, they don't have to spend the evening with us.
And I do have a quorum. So before I get started, I need to have a zoning and annexation amendment to approve the preliminary plat of Dixie Field Property LLC, Lot 5, located in Section 43 T9S-R1E, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, and I so move. Second by Mr. Dickey. Any discussion? We'll probably take a vote on it for the amendment. So I'm going to be a yes. Mr. Dickey?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
And Chuck?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we'll put that on we'll count that as number 3 on the agenda. So I'll start with number 1, Mr. Mader. No? Okay. Okay. So then I'll go to number 2, to approve rezoning land swap and exchange. Boyer Properties is swamping a parcel of land zone C4 for the parcel of land zone C3 with this exchange. They are requesting that the newly acquired piece of land be zoned C4 in order to match the existing remainder of the tract, which is also zone C4, and I so move. Second, Mr. Martin and Mr. Martin.
What's being built?
They're supposed to be putting I guess a meat market and a boudin place.
No, this is the land swap for the Tourist Commission and the Huff Power property at exit 82. The Tourist Commission currently owns a piece of property on the south side of Rice Capital Parkway. The Huff Power family has agreed to take back that piece of property into their family property and swap the land on the north side of the roadway surrounding the Tourist Commission building. And what they're asking for is the property that they're swapping is zoned different than the rest of their property, and they want all of their property to be zoned the same. So they're asking to change the zoning from C3 to C4.
Well, with that being said, Mayor, just a little FYI.
Hit your button.
This come about,
Your microphone.
in the opening statement, they announced what the amendments are. That way everybody would know, because had it been told, I'm pretty sure Reggie would have known that it was a total different thing than what we had was talking about. It's just a little FYI, give people a chance. A lot of people don't know what variance is or what have you, but if you would have said that we was doing the land swap from the beginning, I think it would have been a lot smoother. Just a little FYI. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now I'll move to the number 3, which will be the approval of preliminary plat of Dixie Field Property LLC, Lot 5, located in Section 43 T9S-R1E, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, and I so move. second by Mr. Martin. Any questions about that?
This is the property for T-Boys,
Okay.
Boudin.
This property is exactly where, I mean, I know it gives us where it's at on.
Where the road curves, heading east, where the road curves in front of Fizzo's, to the right, on the south side of Rice Capital Parkway, there's a little triangle piece there in that curve, between Rice Capital and the interstate. It's that little triangle piece.
And I think there's a map in the,
Yes, sir. Correct.
I think it's in the back of the packet too. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, I do not have any discussion items. Is there anything else to come before zoning and annexation? I will recess.
Thank you, sir. Welcome to Crowley, T-Boys. Well, that'll be official next week, but,
Thank you for the boudin.
yes, sir.
You're welcome to come back second and third Tuesday of every month.
Thank you, sir. All right, Public Works, Alderman Alderman Dorey.
Thank you, Mayor. I will now open Public Works. Let the record show that a quorum is present. The first item is Public Works Director Albert John. Let's not make him stand up too long.
Good afternoon. I'm sure most of y'all noticed that the lights on exit 80 were out from the middle of last week. They're back on as of yesterday afternoon. It looked like it was a lightning problem as far as the, excuse me, electrician said. It had knocked out both of the fuses on the eyes on the north side and south side, even though they're different. They're different, Slimco north, Glico south. So that's back up. In the shop, the mechanic is finishing up on a wastewater pickup truck, putting a new engine. That's a fairly big job. All the other stuff are little maintenance and repairs. Matter of fact, he's closed 65 work orders in the last 30 days. So I don't know of any large pieces of equipment now with any problem, because the street department now has some new equipment, so hopefully there won't be. Mosquito control. We are still spraying. We spray Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. Even though you see it raining outside, at 8 o'clock it will be clear. We will be spraying, and we're rotating chemicals every week now. Any questions?
No other questions? Then, thank you very much, Albert. Have a seat.
Well, thank you.
Next on the agenda is City Engineer Tim Mater.
Thank you, Jeff. I have no action items. In fact, I have no action items on any of the committees that bear my name, so I'll let you know that ahead of time, and Chuck can get over it. So, any questions on the report that you received by email? That's it.
Okay, with no questions, then we'll move on to Mr. Wesley.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Doing fine.
Grass, as usual. Now we're getting some rain, so it's starting to come up faster. Albert was speaking about our vehicles. Everything is holding up pretty well. Thanks to your efforts, and Chantel's efforts. My kind of saving here and there, we got a new tractor for I-10. It was much needed. I think I spoke last month about how much money we had been spending just repairing it. So all the parties involved, we got a new tractor. As of today, the interstate is completely cut, and this is the first time in 6, 8 months that we can cut the whole interstate at one time before something breaks. So that's a plus. Thank you again. We received the new to us, used 60-foot boom bucket truck that we purchased. That's been out down the road working. Crossing your fingers, your toes. We have a pretty good staff getting things done. The mechanic, nobody talks about him, but like Albert said, 65 work orders in a month. And that's probably not even writing down lawnmower maintenance stuff, you know, changing blades, all changes, because it takes a village to do that. But it takes a lot of moving parts, and I think we got the right people in the right positions to handle it. I did have 2 accidents, how can I say incidents, this past week. One, employee trying to cut around the DMV, thought they could make it in between the fence and the car, rubbed up against the bumper, scratched it. Things happen. I was most impressed that rather than just leaving it, he actually called in and reported it and went over there and found the property owner and, you know, just took care of it the right way. And then me hanging out with the mayor again all weekend, I was, you know, kind of tired Monday morning, and I backed out the building and ran into our brand new tractor. So I dented my tailgate, which was dented. I dented it 2.5 years ago, so it's time for a new one now. But other than that,
New tailgate? A new tailgate?
tailgate.
Yeah, the tractor was not horned.
No,
There was no tractors horned in the making of this
no.
situation.
But like Albert said, right now the mechanic is kind of trying to concentrate on that wastewater truck. So all hands on deck for little small stuff. We'll worry about that later. Before I ask for any questions, I have one request. A few months ago, I came and asked for a resolution to buy a used piece of equipment, or the bucket truck. Well, I'm here again asking for another resolution to buy a used vehicle, piece of equipment. Not asking for any money this time. We have the money in the budget. I just need the approval to get a used piece of equipment. Other than that, we have any questions, concerns?
No questions?
Another excavator. Trying to get one a little bit bigger. Our 50 is, we use it every day, but we got some big trees that got to come down, and it's wreaking havoc on it, trying to pick up big stuff, busting lines, rams leaking. Just need another one.
Well, Wes, I guess my question is, if you need the excavator, then you're gonna need a trailer to pull it?
Yeah, that's why I say we're gonna get a resolution to buy a
Both of
used
Trailer and the excavator.
excavator and trailer, yes.
Step?
Okay, so you say you have some money in
Microphone, please.
the money already in your budget? Well, I offer the motion that you get the resolution, what have you, to buy whatever equipment needed. That's including trailer, whatever.
The resolution is, the resolution he's talking about is for us to buy a used piece of equipment, not to approve the purchase.
Why
And
would
so,
you need a resolution? I mean,
because
y'all-
it's a used piece of equipment, and so there's a state law, and we did it for the bucket truck, we did it for 5 pickup trucks that we bought last year, I think it was. But we have to do it for each product that we purchase. If it's not a new vehicle on state contract or by bid, then there's a state law, but it's a resolution. So there's nothing that's needed at this time until we bring the resolution forward.
We have an offer. Do we have a second? Just to move it forward?
Yeah, second.
You second it? Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we move it on. Is that it? Thank you, Wesley. All right. That's it for the reports. Now into action items. No action items presented for the monthly engineers report. But item number 2, consider the dedication of that portion of 4th Street from Moore Avenue westward to Tinemus in the memory of Ida Harmon Robinson and the erection of signage commemoration said dedication. We need a motion.
Continuation of what was asked at the last city council meeting, and why I don't have Mr. Sid Wilson Senior on that, that was discussed. Basically, what I'm asking this council to do is something that every city you go to, they do it every day. I'm not asking to change the actual name of the street. I'm asking to put a dedicated sign that would honor these people that has done good things for the city of Crowley, in our opinion, in our district. Okay? That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking to go through 911 and having people change their address. We done it already for Mr. Nelson J. Arsenault without a problem. Why is it a problem with these? That's the question I have.
Okay, we have you made the motion, right?
Right, but Sid Wilson Senior should have been on here as well, because it's duplications of the last one that I had requested. I don't know why his name is not on there. But it should have been, it should have mimicked the same thing that was asked at the last council meeting. It should have been Sid Wilson Senior from 3rd Street and what is that, Avenue D to Highway 90. That needs to be incorporated into this item, because it mimics the same thing that was asked last time. There's no difference.
Okay, well, let's see if we can get a second on this item we're at.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion.
Just have a question. I'm not really sure who these people are.
Okay.
Is there any way that we can maybe get like something typed up or something and sent to
Right,
us
I
this
can
week?
tell you, basically, yes, that's simple. I mean, I expunged on it last time. Mr. Sid Wilson, Senior, he was one of the companies that done work on the Chafalaya Basin, okay? They did concrete finishing work as well as other jobs to make the bridge that anyone heading to to Baton Rouge on I-10 from Crowley, what have you. That's a mimic of his doing. Miss Edna Harmon Robinson, she took care of the West Crowley Cemetery, her and her husband, for years and years and years, until, really up to her passing, okay? And the next one, we'll talk about the dedication of Martin Luther King. Like I said before, I recognize recognition. When people do something good, okay, let's recognize them for that. And that's all it is. There's no anything out of play with it. We just recognizing them, saying thank you for doing what you've done, because it's something that benefited everybody. It just didn't benefit our district or that street. It benefited everybody. So that's where we at with that. Any questions, I'll be glad to ask.
Okay, if there's any more discussion?
Yes, Chair.
Okay,
Just want to mention, while I fully support recognizing individuals who have made meaningful contributions to our city, I have concerns about placing honorary name signs on existing street signs.
I understand.
From a public safety perspective, adding honorary street names has potential to create confusion for some residents, visitors, delivery services, and even emergency responders, such as a Keaton Ambulance that has a lot of drivers, or the other that
I
have drivers
understand.
from out of the city.
Right.
In emergency situations, every second matters. If someone unfamiliar with our community reports an incident using only the honorary street name rather than the official street name, it could result in unnecessary delays in dispatching the emergency personnel to the correct location.
I do understand that, and with all due respect to that, the street name never changes.
I understand, Step,
never
but
change.
sometimes our street signs, just as we have many that aren't even existing now that need to be replaced. And
Well,
if the street
that's the
name.
administration's fault, okay? That's
Right.
not our fault.
Oh, I understand.
Right.
But I believe there are other meaningful ways to recognize deserving individuals without creating the potential for confusion. For example, the city could install a memorial plaque on or within a public building in their honor with a description of what they contributed to the city. Memorial plaques or commemorative benches, perhaps within our public parks, also are lasting tributes that allow the city to recognize an individual's contributions while preserving the clarity and consistency of our official street signs. So I just don't feel that it's appropriate to add an honorary name sign to an existing street sign. I think we can consider other avenues to do so.
Understood.
Thank you.
But at the end of the day, I mean, we have done it already. And, like I say, I don't see any difference. We already put commemorative, signs from, Nelson J. Arsenault without any problem.
And again,
I mimicked from that being done, okay?
as I mentioned last time, it was something new, didn't put a lot of consideration into it, but I have done more research on that. And I just, again, feel better, there are better ways to commemorate these individuals, to explain what they contributed
Well,
to
I
the
mean,
city.
Everything,
Like a plaque.
everything has a biography with it, okay?
Sure.
It opens up, just like right now, over in the houses in West Crowley subdivision, Dejon Circle is the biggest street out there. When they asked me who Dejon Circle was named after, I let them know it was named after my ancestors.
Sure.
Okay, so if they want to know the story, right there in Rain, at Gateway, Samuel Thomas Street, that's my father. They want to know about him, all they got to do is ask me.
And if we get new subdivisions with new streets, sure, that's
Yeah, well-
totally appropriate. But I just don't like the idea of the confusion that it can create.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'd like to call for the vote and have a roll call vote if possible. It is, everybody have their own opinion. My opinion is, you give people flowers, normally while they're still living, but there's nothing wrong with giving it to them while they're ascended into heaven for work that they put forward that, like I said, it wasn't a personal thing where the only person that benefited was that person. They done something that benefited basically, what Mr. Wilson done benefited everybody that traveled across that basin, okay?
Sure, and I
Right,
greatly
so-
appreciate their contributions. There's no doubt, and I want them to be recognized.
I got you. I appreciate that.
You bet.
Okay, and I really appreciate hearing both sides of this. Now, I would want to, if no other discussion, let's go to a vote. All in favor?
All right.
All opposed?
Nay,
Okay, how many? 2-1? So,
you have to vote as well.
well, I'll vote to move it on to the next level of the regular meeting, and then we'll hear it all again, but it'll have a chance to do whatever it does.
Can I give I'm not on this committee, so that's why I didn't speak.
Right.
But I just want to say something, if it's moving on to
Your mic.
next week. I'm sorry, and no disrespect, because I don't know either one of them. But if we're gonna move it on to next week, I want someone from the family here on their behalf to come and speak. If not, I'll go on record to say, because I know last time when it didn't go through, you said, I wish we would've did a vote by name so everybody knows. My vote's no. If you can't come and speak on behalf of your family and tell me you want to see that recognized, if they come, I'm all about it. I'm good. I'm good.
No. Oh,
So anytime something like that come about, they ask that we would bring it up. But like I said, I have no problem with that.
The one thing that I brought up the last time was that Tony Roby Show Center. No one came and spoke on their behalf, and y'all made a horrible decision. And the family's still mad about it. So I don't want anybody mad. The last meeting we had last month, they had people here that were against it, that spoke outside that said they don't want it. So I would just like to see somebody come and speak and say, hey, I would like that for my family member. Okay, thank you.
And I'll tell you, Mr. Dorey, I think it's, I think it's important that I mention what some of the citizens have told me also privately, because they don't want to speak up in this meeting because of different reasons. But we called for a public hearing last month for these same exact items. There were people here that showed up here last month. None of them spoke in favor. None of them spoke against. I did speak with some of the citizens. I'm talking about citizens in Ward 1 that don't think this needs to happen. They don't understand why. Or 3, I'm sorry, Ward 3. And I'll tell you that the next one, there's a resident who actually lives on West Hutchinson and said that they don't want that. They said, yeah, they can put that down there by the tracks. I don't want that in front of my house. She said, we have a building and we have a park. I don't want that. There's no reason to name this street something different than it is. And so, or dedicate this street something than it is. I think it's important that the citizens who confided in me, I'm not saying names because they confided in me to say what and voice their opinions. Look, we had a public hearing for these items. And I'll be honest with you, I spoke with someone from the family of Miss Edna. And I actually helped Miss Edna before her passing with that cemetery. And I spoke to one of the family members of Miss Edna, and none of them know anything about this. They did not ask for it. They certainly did not ask for it. And so I'm just telling you what I've heard from a family member. So just keep that in mind that, you know, do we name or do we dedicate a block of a street, every other block of a street, a different name throughout the city? Where does it stop, and who? I mean, there's some really great people who have passed in our city before these people. Really great people. These are great people also. But where do we stop by placing another street sign on another block somewhere else in the city because someone was very instrumental in doing different things in our city? We can't dedicate every block to a different person that has contributed to the success and the future or the past of our city every time someone passes away. It's just, it's going to be very confusing, so.
First of all, I'm not here asking for every block. I'm not here asking for every person.
This is the 4th request in the past 3 months for different blocks. We've gotten one done. Now you're asking for 2 more blocks, and I don't know how far of West Hutchinson or what section of West Hutchinson, or if it's the whole part of West Hutchinson. So there's
You got a
4
problem with Martin Luther
in the
King Day
past.
being on it?
No, sir. No
Okay,
one
then
ever said
why
that.
are you running your mouth?
The
for?
residents who live on it
Okay, well,
have a
good.
problem with it because they
Well, we
spoke to me
represent
about it.
them. Well, why didn't they come talk to me?
Because they don't want to have to deal with the repercussions of you and your daughter on Facebook
Oh,
if
Lord,
they go against you.
There you go.
That's
There
the
you
truth of the matter.
There you go.
That's the
There
truth.
you
That's
go.
just what I've been
There
told.
you go. There you go.
They
There
don't
you
want
go.
the repercussions.
There you go, the repercussions.
I'm gonna call
There
for
you go.
this- I'm gonna
I knew
call
you
for
had
this-
ulterior motive.
Excuse
Okay.
me.
Not
Because
my
you're telling the
motive.
truth about you on
Excuse me.
Facebook,
It's not my
and now-
motive.
and now
I'm
you can't
calling
handle
for
it.
this to be
Okay.
shut down, no
Okay.
more discussion,
Yeah.
and we
Well,
move
he
into the
brought it
next
up.
item.
Oh, Lord.
We've
Facebook.
heard you, it's good, I'm glad you spoke, let's move.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just have one question.
needs to say
Alderman,
Facebook. Oh, Lord, here we go. Facebook. Yes.
Mr. Gene.
I knew it was
Mr.
coming.
Alderman Dory, do you have to vote a yes vote to be able to move it to the full council? To get it moved?
Well, it has,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, he didn't actually vote, he just said he wanted to get it moved, so he didn't actually say I voted for it, so.
Oh, my God.
Well, then I'll ask to move it then to the full council.
So you vote yes.
So we can hear it all over again.
The replica.
I guess if we hear it enough, it'll almost be like it happened, huh? You know, like it's up
So,
there.
so that's 2 and 2.
It's 3. you wanted to be 2 and 2, but it's 3.
No, there's only 4 people on this committee.
Well,
There's,
3 and 3
there's
and
2
1.
people who, 3 people who voted yes, I'm sorry, and 1 that voted no, you're right. It's not 3 and 3, it's 3 and 1, yes.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Oh, man.
If that's it, let's move on to the next item, so we can hear some more discussion.
Yeah,
That's the-
well, I'll make it clear for you. It has the same remedy as the first one. So that's all I'm saying. It has the same remedy as the first 2.
You promise?
I promise. I'm finished with
Okay.
it, bro.
Thank you.
Apparently, someone made a decision, and just to, as a point of order, I don't know what's the deal with this Facebook
Okay, now,
reference.
we're not
For
going
the simple
into that.
reason, every time they go
I'll
against you,
I'll close the
you bring
committee
it
if
up.
you're gonna do that.
But
Let's
you're
not
gonna
do
have a
that.
lot more against you than
It's,
what you
it's
think.
not about me, Mr. Martin, it's the people who have spoke to me
Okay,
that said
okay.
that, that's why I mentioned it.
okay, the
You're gonna
people
say what you gotta say about me, and I sleep good at night.
Oh, you need to.
I do,
You
yes, sir.
need to. I'm finished with it.
Is it okay?
I'm
Okay.
finished. I'm finished. Thank you.
All right. We're still friends, huh? Okay. I'm checking.
Step Martin ain't got no problem. See, that's the good thing about Step
Okay,
Martin.
now
They
let's,
just have a
let's,
problem
let's
with
go
me.
with, let's
We
go
good.
with number 3. Consider the dedication of West Hutchinson Avenue in memory of Dr. Martin Luther King and the erection of signage commemorating his said dedication.
Okay, and I just want to make a statement on that. Since when, this is a democratic society, so one person don't want it, did you ask any other people?
I didn't say one person,
Well,
I
I
said
am
some
a-
residents
Well,
on
some, okay,
West
did
Hutchinson.
you talk to every last
Yes,
one
sir.
of them?
No, sir, but
Okay,
did you
then, well,
talk to
quit-
them if they wanted
quit
it?
putting up a sample.
How many did you talk to that wanted?
Just about everyone that I came in contact with.
Okay, then everyone I came in contact with said no.
Well, it looked like every time you come to West Crowley, you always seem to find a negative thing to say. And when you gonna take down those signs? You put those illegal signs up. When you gonna take them down?
We've done discussed that. You voted for them to be there 20
No,
years
no,
ago.
no. Well, you put the ones there now, okay? Because they was there not to mean no parking. They was just there to, and I
Okay,
think Chief, you reiterated on that.
in-
But that's fine though.
All right,
But
in the,
look like
word,
every time you
in the
come to
words
West
of our
Crowley, you have a
previous
problem with
mayor,
that.
Greg
Okay.
Jones, you're starting to digress.
Yeah.
So,
I hear you, man.
and
It's
I'm hearing
crazy,
nothing
man.
but digress. So let's move
Yeah.
forward.
But every time we come to West Crowley,
Okay, we
you got
we need a vote on this. We need a motion, okay. Oh, you made the motion and you second it, Byron? Okay, all in favor? And opposed?
Nay, for the reasons stated previously.
All right. And for this one, I'm gonna vote nay, because I would rather the local people be recognized. We already have Martin Luther King recognized. I think you're doubling down, but that's just my opinion, so, okay. All right.
And with that being said, I'd like to call for a roll call vote on it.
Why roll call vote? We just said what we said.
Well, I mean, I think I was right to call when you denied it, so I'm just asking for a roll call vote.
You go ahead and roll.
There was 2 for and 2 against.
I'd like you to say it. You know, you keep mentioning, about your meeting is the next meeting. This is our meeting.
Yes, sir.
Bumping heads with everything that we say.
Because-
You make these meetings 10 hours long, when we're just asking you just one question. Oh, I do. You understand? Okay, go ahead.
We're starting to digress again, I believe, yeah.
Just get her to call the roll.
Stay out of our
Call the roll.
Yes. You can do it.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff Doré says no. And let me read my people over here. Okay, Brad Core,
No.
Byron Wildrich,
Yes.
Vernon Martin. Sandy Marks is not present. So it's dead. That's the end of it. With nothing else, I will now recess. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, utility, Alderman Martin, please. Microphone, please.
We do have a quorum. First up is wait, hold up, wait a minute, excuse me. Jim Crater, is he here today?
He is at the LRWA conference right now.
Okay. So there's no report. City Engineer Tim Mader?
No action items.
With there being nothing else to come before this committee, anybody have anything to bring before utility? We recess.
Thank you, sir. Recreation, Alderman Ashby.
We'll call Recreation Committee to order. We do have a quorum present. Up first is Recreation Director Mike Aguilar.
Good evening, everybody. Currently going on, due to the weather, our great facility has acquired the American Legion State Tournament. It was moved from Fallbacher and Lafayette to Miller Stadium. So for the past 4 days, including tomorrow, it'll bring in a total revenue of $1,000. So our 9 and 10 Mustang All-Star Baseball team has qualified for the World Series. And so they'll be moving on, and that should be this coming weekend. I've passed out to Mr. Chuck an updated signage for the Tony Robichaux Sports Complex advertising, and I'm currently working on the Martin Luther King signage as well at the rec center. So those are prices. I think previously, from previous directors, they had gone year to year. To be honest with you, it's kind of hard to keep up with who's paying what. So it's a 3-year deal or a 5-year deal. And that way we don't have to worry about taking up the signs every other year or going to fetch dollars. It's pretty, what I did was I take the Broussard, an area, Alexandria, Minden, I've called around cities, so this is kind of a price that I thought was fair for our companies and for our citizens. So the plan is on December 31st, because we're having a hard time tracking all the contracts that were there. And I've been told a person previously just went out and whatever happened. So there's no contracts. We can't find them. So December 31st, everything's coming down. So January 1st, we're starting fresh. And I think there's some companies that we haven't heard of or haven't heard from in a long time. And I'll be happy to discuss those with you guys. I think it's exciting, and we did the math, and my math is mathing. If we sold one sign on everything proposed there, that's 77 grand. So, but I am working on the same signage kind of for Martin Luther King inside the gym area, so I think that would bring some more revenue there. We are currently working before they budget up. I think there's some money left over. We're getting prices on quotes for filling mulch in all the playgrounds, but it came out higher tentatively than what we had expected, so we may have to kind of prioritize, but I'd like to do at least 3 or 4, and then we can finish out the rest. And then a word from Dr. Proctor. I've been working with her at MLK Park. They're currently working on putting a pavilion there. So, but she asked me to make this announcement. The National Association of Women, University Women's will host an annual back-to-school supply giveaway seminar on August 13th at the MLK Rec Center at 6 o'clock. All students, parents are invited, and refreshments will be provided, and any donations are welcome for the kids to go back to school for school supplies. Other than that, take some questions if y'all have any.
Hold on, step before. Mike, one more thing.
Yes.
Just so they'll know, because it's something that they brought up. You did get pricing to redo the flooring.
Yes.
So they'll know that that's something that we're working on. Go ahead, I'll let you.
Yeah, so I've gotten a quote to wax, excuse me, strip and wax the lobby area that goes into the bathrooms there and the entire gym. I'm working on getting 2 more before I announce the exact price, but we're going to try and work that into the next budget. But when we lay the tape down, the wax will be poured over that, so it's harder. It doesn't come up as easy.
So we may end up being able to squeeze that in with some monies he's got left over, we're hoping, but he's got to get 2 more quotes. But we are trying to get that done. Go ahead now, Step.
Microphone, please.
Have you been out to the MLK after the rain?
Yes, sir.
You see what the problem that we have?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I had to cancel 3 events because of sogginess of the, and I do understand the guys that has the fun jumps, whatever. They want to make sure those things are anchored because you watch Facebook and you see them flying, you know. And I told them, yeah, I said, well, we do understand, and we'll take the, no, there's no responsibility, it's insurance thing. We need dirt there, we need to level that off. We need to crown that,
You're talking about the open field
do what?
or the ballpark?
No, this is all around the pavilion and everywhere else when you drive up there. Okay, I came up with the solution for the drive-through, which I'm glad, Wes, y'all did a good job with that. Only question I have, that's just one of the things that I'm talking about. I don't know how y'all gonna do that, because with that fence, will it be some type of blockade right there to keep people from hitting that fence? Wes, I guess you would be able to answer that. Because that was the first thing brought up, because you know, people leaving from certain venues after drinking alcohol, their sight is not the sight that average people see. So that's what I'm asking. Would some type of pillar or something that would be there? Because if they hit that fence, they automatically, they own the school board property.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
Honestly, we hadn't got that far yet.
Okay,
I do have some rails that we pull out of some parks that we
Right.
still got. But right now, we got the pipe in, we got the first layer of rock
Right,
down.
right.
Now I got to do a catch basin up by the road.
okay.
This is something that y'all been asking about for a long time. The mayor, myself, I went out there and looked and tried to figure out how not to cut the tree down, so we come up with this. It's not the final thing, but
Right,
it is. While I'm up here, if you notice in the back of the center along the fence line, we
The
done went
drainage,
in,
yeah.
we done cut down everything, pull up trees.
right,
We actually took dirt, covered up the little swell ditches that they had, and we
Right.
moved the ditch away from the fence so it wouldn't be so hard to cut when it's finished.
right,
Right now, we have the ditch coming from the ballpark back midway. The mayor actually was out there and found a pipe that goes under the school and drains out that way, so we
Right.
brought the ditch back to that. From the backside of the school, backside of Martin Luther King Center, we got that water going towards Hutchinson. We got
Okay.
that finished, and then we got to turn around and go from the backside of the building back to the pipe that goes under the school for the
Okay.
drainage wise. All right,
You think
so-
that pipe is cleared enough where drainage would,
Oh, yeah, it's open.
Okay. Right,
So while I'm here, Mike doesn't know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Around the playground equipment is all low areas,
Right.
all up in there.
Right.
All right. As honest as I can, this is the best way I can describe it. Over the years, they've put the little pavilions, they put the sidewalk, but nobody thought about
leveling
the
out,
drainage. No, it's not
Exactly.
it's the drainage.
right,
Everything is trapped. All right.
right,
If you raise the ground level up, now you're gonna be over the pavilions. The pavilions are too low.
well,
All right, so it's not just a one, it's like you gotta go through a series of what ifs to get it all taken care of. We're gonna work on it and try to figure it out.
well, one thing, being in that type business, I know if you can't add to it, you can take away.
Well, that's
You
not
can take
my.
away.
that-
You
that-
can level it down to where you get, tractor, or what have you, and take away a couple of inches to level it off. Leveling off doesn't always mean bringing it on. It means sometimes dropping it down.
Well, right
And I agree
now-
with you 100% with the overage of the pavilions.
The only
But-
drainage that they got is the ditch that goes along the road.
Right.
And it goes up under, so you're not about to pull up
Right.
the driveway.
Right,
You're not about to pull up the parking lot, because we're talking like
right,
hundreds of thousands of dollars, so let's just slow down and try to come up with a plan.
right.
But, I mean, I'm around there, I pass it every day. I got a solution to the problem of the fun jumps. How about y'all just put them on a big field in the back, cause it's on the crown and it's up and they got all the parking and everything right back there?
Yeah, but the problem with that is everybody wants to be where they can watch the kids. We thought about that. We thought about that as well. But Chief will tell you, everybody want to watch the kids.
What you mean, watch the kids?
You gotta watch the kids, man. I mean, they got them kids on those fun jumps and water slides, and there's no,
So
what
where
they
the
gonna get
parents
water from?
gonna be?
Huh?
Where the parents gonna be?
Well, now, Wes, I mean, look, we all agree that the parents should be there with their kids, but at the end of the day, you talking about putting the fun jumps away from the pavilion? Is that what you suggest?
There's the pavilion, the pavilion is here, you're putting the fun jumps right next to the pavilion, right here. It's the fun jumps, the pavilion, the playground equipment. If you take the fun jump and put it on the other side of the playground equipment, they can still play on the playground equipment.
Yeah, but yeah, well, look, that's illogical for us to say, because I don't have any small kids. I got grandkids. But at the end of the day, kids do kids things, okay? And if I would be an owner of those type of inflatables, I think I would have a problem with that, okay? Because accidents can happen, okay? One of the main things that's over there
Well,
is
maybe I
the
need to
kids.
stop talking. I don't
Right.
understand what's going on. I mean, there's
Right.
a fun jump. I thought the fun jumps was out there because it was a function going on. It's just out there. Somebody just drops them off and leaves them out there.
No, I mean, once they set them up, okay, they set them up. But at the end of the day, kids are playing on these things. One of the main problems that was brought to my attention, which, to be honest with you, I do a lot of entertainment, different things, musical, you know what I do.
Well, I'm sorry,
And
I'll
I'm gonna
offer
say this, the problem is, when the kids walk in the mud, and it is what it is, they try and put, one of those, tarps underneath to try and stretch it out 10 feet on each side. But when the kids walk from there and go on either to the pavilion or to the restroom, now they're climbing up the inflatable from the back. That's mud, okay?
I got you.
Kids will slide off of there, and accident happen, someone is gonna see it. By the time a kid run from where you had to tell a parent somebody just fell, that could be life or death right there. So basically, that's what I'm looking
I'm
at.
gonna go ahead and apologize.
No,
I
man,
thought the
look.
fun jumps was somebody setting up a fun jump that's renting a fun jump
Right.
for a party. I didn't know it was just out there for anybody to go to.
Well,
with no
basically,
supervision.
when I throw a function, when we get together and throw a function, it's for any and everybody that wants to. We don't put a name or put any type of stipulations on it. I mean, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure those kids are safe, all right? At one time, when I used to rent these things over in Lafayette, we had to sign a contract where we had someone actually there watching it, okay, to make sure that the kids don't tear up this and whatever. Make sure that they're orderly going up and down, because kids gonna be kids. I done seen kids try and grab the other kids' swim trunks down, Chief, you know what I'm talking about, just to have fun, okay? So, I mean, kids gonna be kids, but I appreciate that input.
Wes, just so you'll know, you're never gonna stop them from getting muddy.
That's
The
it,
fun jumps are always gonna be muddy.
that's it.
I had a fun jump company for 10 years, and when it is raining or
Yeah.
has rained,
Right.
you don't put stakes in the ground, you bring sandbags.
Well-
Sandbags is what holds the inflatables down
you know what?
in a muddy area.
Chuck, you said you own the business? I don't know. I thought you
So-
put them there and the weight of the water hold them down.
No,
I
no,
didn't
no,
know.
no, you put
Yeah.
sandbags so the stakes don't come out of a wet ground.
Okay, well, like I said, you telling me, I just learned something. So, but the bottom line is, and like the chief said, there's no electricity, out there, but, I mean, the only way you can basically come with, any type of remedy is to come up with a solution. And y'all just gave two solutions, but at the end of the day, you tell a parent that, okay, your kid gonna be, 50 feet or 30 yards away from you to go jump and what have you, and anything happen over there, they holding us responsible, you know? So, I mean, it's.
Well, we'll give Wes and them some time to try to figure out how to remedy the water that's
I
there.
have no problem with it.
Thank y'all
The
for
fact of
working
the
on
matter
it.
that it's being discussed, that's good enough.
Sammy,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it didn't
my-
happen yesterday.
Yes, sir.
He had mentioned there was some drinking in the park. There's no open container over there, huh? Is the park's open container or no?
absolutely not. It's,
Hey, bro, Can't be everywhere at every time.
I have a question for Michael.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Michael, I mentioned this, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago. I observed individuals like on a Sunday evening in Miller, Mustang Park, and there were children with bicycles on the grounds, and I was concerned about the turf. And I noticed that all the gates were locked and closed, and noticed that the way that they were getting in was to go down by the bayou around the fence, and that's how they were getting in. That called the police, let them know, and, they tell them that, they weren't permitted on there, especially with the bicycles. But is there anything that we can do to, to secure that? I know that the area on the south side of the parking lot, some clearing going on. I'm just wondering would that provide access, or if that's in conjunction with trying to
No,
improve
there's
that
some,
area?
as we update some of the facilities, I know there's some spare, one of the guys, let me back up. One of the guys we currently hired used to work for a fence company. So it's money, but there's ways to get in there. Yes, it can go through the bayou. You see, what my concern is right now is to try and get some cameras there, because we do have some homeless people walking through the park. One of them actually I caught in Miller Stadium in the old bathroom area sleeping. I'm like, hey man, so we're gonna solve that solution. But yes, there's remedies to get back there, but we're looking to, I'm looking to get bids on covering all the batting cages. So there's other projects that I'm working on that I've discussed with Mr. Chuck and Mayor. I'm also seeking diligently about some grants for some playgrounds and splash pads and pickleball court. So I've been contacted, and I've even contacted our not our state representative, I can't remember her name, that works for the governor. But she's told me about a AAA or AARP pickleball, 30,000 pickleball grant to resurface pickleball. So I'm working real hard on that, and I'm also trying to get, again, it's the second month, so I'm trying to get the staff where they're on we still have our hiccups, but where they're working on it, everybody has a responsibility, so.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Mike's done a fantastic job, and I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully at one point in time, we stop meeting every day, but we're okay for now.
Yes, yes.
But thank you for all you've done
I just want to tell
so
everybody,
far.
I'm here, if y'all need me. I know I've visited with some of you, but anytime you need me, just give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, Tim Mater?
Yeah, you have my report, no action items, so
Thank you.
You don't need to hear me.
You're the best. All right, with nothing else to come before Recreation Committee, we will recess.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, Public Safety, Alderman Core.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to call to order the Public Safety Committee meeting. We have a quorum with all members present. I'd like to begin with an amendment to the agenda to include an action item regarding the introduction of an ordinance to amend Section 14-1 of Article 1 of Chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances related to pedestrian crosswalks. And I so move. And I'll need a voice vote to approve. Byron Wildridge?
Do you have
Sammy
it
Reggie?
yet? Did you get a second?
Oh, I'm sorry, Sammy, second.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So Byron voted in favor. Sammy? Yes. Chuck? Yes. And Jeff Dorey? Yes. And myself, yes. Thank you. Okay, we'll begin with reports. Chief of Police Troy Hebert.
In the month of June, our officers answered 750 calls. Some of those calls, we have had an increase in burglaries. We have not seen a increase that high in several years now, so it is concerning. We are taking steps to address it. We have made 4 arrests on burglaries, but it is kind of high. TED traffic violations, officers issued 28. In the TED violations, they issued 491. We had 73 total arrests for the month. 18 were drug violations. And that's pretty much in and of the report, if there's any questions.
Any questions for Chief from Mr. Ashby?
I'm gonna just call Troy. No, I'm just picking. Hey, no, I just wanted to ask, and you, look, y'all have done a wonderful job. It's amazing to see the crime come down the way it has. My only question that I had is, are y'all seeing drug sales, drugs out there? Is that, you see that coming down from when you came in?
We do see a reduction, and some of that's from people staying more inside the house and stuff. So, you know, I think the drugs are still out there a lot. It's just they adapt and they stay inside the house, and a lot of transactions. You may have more traffic pick up to and from a house, not so much outside where it's visible. There's a lot of things that we started enforcing, you know, hanging out, drinking and stuff like that. So it's not as easy for them to sell anymore. So now it's more or less them going to the houses, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because as long as the neighbors are calling and reporting the heavy traffic, you know, in and out the house, it does make our job easier to target that than target somebody standing up outside selling dope. They may hide it on the corner, and so they almost have to know the individual that's selling it. So it is getting better for us.
Any other questions for Chief? Thank you, Chief. Next, we'll move to Fire Chief Luis Romero, who is absent. And next is City Inspector Marty DeRusso for his report.
Good evening. For our Animal Control Division, we had 3 calls for dead animals, 3 calls for cats, 18 calls for loose dogs, 1 animal bite investigation, 12 calls for traps, no animal cruelty complaints. There were 2 wildlife issues addressed, 2 requests for cat traps, which were still pending. Those calls just go into queue. And there were no animals needing treatment for injury or sickness. 1 animal was seized. We had a total of 28 volunteer service hours for the month of June. The majority of that came from a young man who had to do some community service time and ended up enjoying it so much he asked if he could come, you know, a couple of days out of every month. So we're grateful for that.
Yes.
The shelter's still operating at full capacity. We took in a total of 14 dogs. We were able to rehome or have reclaimed 10, and we have 20 dogs currently in the shelter. We took in 4 cats. We reclaimed or rehomed 2. Currently have 8 in the shelter, and there was 1 citation issued that had to deal with the animal bite. Code enforcement, there's been an increase in roadside debris that you'll see driving through Crowley. There are some issues on the parish side with bulk pickup that we are aware of. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be speaking with our attorney, and we're going to try to figure out something that I don't know that where the end in sight for the parish side of things might be, but I think that we would all agree we want it cleaned up and picked up, but in doing so, it will end up being pulling west and some of those guys from what they're doing. And so since we've got fees associated with the remedying of properties and other avenues, I'll be speaking with Mike to see if that's something that the city can do in the event we do have to go and claim some of this roadside debris, if we can charge it back in the same way we do for yards and trees and stuff like that. So we'll be working on that. And we're also getting pretty close to finalizing some ordinances dealing with the junk and abandoned vehicles. I've got about 30 to 40 of them on my desk. Owners have been notified, and we're just kind of waiting to have those ordinances finalized before we can start pulling those from properties. And I've got about a half dozen properties that are pretty bad shape as far as just the accumulation of junk and debris on the properties. Again, that's something that we want to make sure that we have the full weight of the law behind us before we go into property and start taking action. Getting into the statistics for code enforcement, tall grass, we sent 76 notices. That was probably over the course of about 21 days. As best I could count, we had about 9 or 10 rain days last month. So 76 notices is quite a bit. We remedied, we cut 21 of those properties. Trash and rubbish, we sent out 14 notices. 12 notices were sent for abandoned vehicles. There were 4 demolitions completed, and these were all owner initiated, so that's a big relief and a huge lift from the city's shoulders. Sent 1 notice for a dead or diseased tree and 2 notices for uninhabitable dwellings. Flood management provided base flood elevation for 1 property. Permits, there were 31 total issued, 9 building, 12 electrical, 1 gas, 1 electrical gas, 4 demolitions, 1 fence, 1 sign, and 2 roof permits. Under planning and zoning, we already addressed that at the beginning of the meeting with the favorable recommendation from Planning Committee on the 2 items mentioned, which was the rezoning of the land swap with the Power Properties and Tourism Commission and the preliminary final plat approval for the sale of Dixie Field Lot 5, which is going to be soon T-Boys Boudin. I also provided information, zoning information for 3 properties. And for our stormwater management protocols, we conducted the monthly outfall inspections. Any questions?
Mr. Ashby?
Marty, going back to you talking about picking up garbage on the side of the road, and I understand that, our employees have to be paid to do it, but I want you to keep one thing in mind. Sometimes that garbage is not the homeowner's garbage. I have 2 locations where I have multiple houses on a block, and for some reason at the end of that block, and both of them are in West Crowley, but the people from the neighborhood, I guess, decided that this has become their area. When they overloaded with trash, they're gonna pile it in this ditch. And I'm not there every day, but I'll pass 3 days later, it's full again. And I just want you to keep that in mind, because I sure don't want to get fines all of a sudden coming to my house because y'all had to go clean something that every 3 days I can promise you is going to be full again. I can't sleep there and monitor it. I just don't know what else to do, but they
Well,
love
sleep
putting
there
their
and
garbage
monitor
there.
it. That would be a big help. No, we are aware. And so just so you know, the mayor and I actually spent several hours one morning in the bucket truck, in the grappler truck picking up trash. We went all around the city doing that. It's not something that I think either of us want to do, but we're willing to do it because it's for the city of Crowley. One thing that it's worth mentioning is that there's always the opportunity for conversation. If people will call me, we don't get it right all the time. Got a call this morning, hey, I'm looking at a notice that you sent me. It's not my property. 1 keystroke error and somebody got notification. Not a problem, we'll fix it. Thank you for letting us know. So anytime something like that happens, if it's not the homeowner, they're welcome to call. We're not just going to send and say, no, tough luck. We're definitely going to have conversations and work with people however we can. It doesn't benefit us to really just kind of press down on people and say, suck it up, you live in Crowley. That's not the attitude or the approach we want, Yes.
Chuck?
Mr. Core.
Mayor?
Just FYI on the bulk waste deal, it obviously is a big problem. And the parish cannot keep up with it, and we certainly can't either. In the proposed budget for next year, you will get, hopefully next week, we'll be ready to stop moving numbers around in there and figuring out what's what for the next budget. But we're planning to, Wesley and Brent went to Church Point to see how they have theirs set up. And we're planning to hire a part-time employee because we can't just open it up and allow the public just to freely go and dump trash at Public Works in the dumpsters, because there's no telling what's gonna end up in those dumpsters. And we have to keep trash separate from trees, separate from iron, separate from concrete, separate from tires. We won't be taking tires. And of course, you know, paints and flammable liquids and all that stuff. So there's gonna have to be an employee there. And so we're looking at funding a part-time employee, and we still have to work on the plans for this. But my expectations is that this employee will be available for the public to be able to go, instead of having to go to Egan. Some people don't have the means to go to Egan, to haul trash or things to Egan, bulk waste. Hopefully, having the opportunity to do it here in the city will help with those efforts a little bit with some of our citizens to be able to do it that way. But we can't have it available Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. because that's when people are working. So we have to, I want to make sure and make a schedule so that it actually benefits and allows our citizens to go after work or weekends, some weekend days to be available also. So we're working on trying to get a plan together to help remedy that. That's not going to get rid of all of the trash on the side of the road. However, hopefully it will help minimize the bulk waste on the side of the roadways, and then maybe the parish, and with a little help from the city, we can then keep it up. So that's what we're trying to work on now, a plan for that.
Thank you. Byron?
I've been sitting here debating this, and I'm digressing a little bit. I want to apologize to the mayor, especially to the city councilmen. The 29th, me and my family was going on vacation. I have to, though. I seen the Facebook post, but my daddy told me, if I make my bed, I gotta lie in my bed. Ain't nobody can lie in my bed but me. A family member used my red F-150. And all these Facebook posts that saying tires was thrown in the canal, that was my truck. I'm apologizing to y'all, and whatever the consequences may be, let them fall where they may. They gotta fall on me, because it was my truck in that video. I asked my nephews, they say it wasn't them. So it is what it is. I'm a big boy. I take my responsibility and I'm gonna drive on. But I want to apologize to y'all, because I would never do anything like that. Not for the city of Crowley. I love Crowley too much
Thank you,
to do, but it's the way it looks that got me in trouble.
Yeah, Mr. Barnes, you and I spoke about it, and that certainly is unnecessary. You don't need to take blame for anything that you didn't do, and 100%, no one would ever dream that you would do something like that. So I hope you can. I hope you can find peace that that's something that you don't need to
Actually, me and my family was
deal
going on
with like
vacation,
that.
but at the same time, me and the mayor was talking. It's the same time my brother passed too.
Yes.
So my thought was coming back home, but my mama told me to go ahead and to my vacation. He just passed, but that's the last thing I want to do for the city of Crowley, though. And anybody that know me or know of me know that's not Byron. So I just want the public to apologize to y'all sitting around here, men and women, city councilmen, that I don't. And I told them, if I gotta pay a citation or if I gotta pay for the city workers that did the job, Whatever has to come out of my pocket, I'm willing to do, because that's not for the city workers to do. They got a whole big old responsibility Monday through Friday just keeping up the city of Crowley though. But I just wanted to openly apologize to y'all though.
Thank you, Byron. I appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Mr. Byron.
I didn't believe that you were putting that stuff in my ditch.
I do want to ask, I'll get to you, Step, just say, I do want to ask Marty, maybe you can enlighten us on the requirements to dispose of tires. You know, I've heard that the landfill only takes 5 at a time. Then I've heard they're not taking any tires, and could maybe give us some clarity on what's the best method for citizens who have these tires to get rid of, to do with them?
Well, what's that address, Chuck? No, the landfill, I've not heard of them turning anybody away, but it is very strict. 5 tires per person, and you have to have an address in Acadia Parish in order to access the landfill. So if you've got 20 tires,
Make 4 trips.
either that or bring 3 friends that have a Crowley address,
right.
and now you 5 apiece, you got your 20,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
You just kind of got to think outside the box, because they won't turn you away. As long as everybody's got a valid address,
okay.
they are entitled to 5 tires, you know?
I will add to that the recycle facility on West Highway 90 is the same thing. So that's actually ran by the police jury. But you can bring 5 tires per person, per day, per location. So if you have 10 tires, you personally have 10 tires to get rid of, load them all in the back of your truck. Tomorrow, go to the recycle place on West Highway 90, the green building just before the DMV office.
Yes.
Drop off 5 of them, doesn't cost you a dime. Then you drive to Egan and drop off 5 more at the landfill. Doesn't cost you a dime. You get rid of 10 per day, per person,
So we do have.
and it's free.
So we do have somewhere here in Crowley.
Yes.
That citizens can bring.
Yes, I don't know the address of the recycle facility, but it's across the both sets of tracks. It's just before the DMV office and Public Works there.
Yes.
It's a green building. It's right before Roller Road. So if you get to Roller Road, look to the right, you just passed it up.
Okay.
It's a green metal building. It's next to the old Rice Museum where the old farming implements and stuff are out there. It's right next door to that. But right here in Crowley, you can bring 5 tires per person per day for free. They'll take them now, the police jury may not be happy with that because the police jury actually has to pay to get rid of them. Same way at the city. If the city brings them, there's Colt Tire in Scott that takes all of these tires for a fee. So, you know, whatever you bring to the recycle place and to the landfill, the police jury has to pay to get rid of them. And then, of course, Colt Tire recycles them or does whatever they do with them. But 5 per person, per day, per location. And
This
it
is
doesn't cost
exactly-
anything.
This is exactly why we have the problem we have in the city, because they only take 5 tires. Couldn't we go to the police jury and ask them, you know, couldn't we put something here in the city to where they bring a bin over here to where we can get these tires out of here? Because by them only taking 5, that's why we got
Right.
1,000 tires in the city.
I think the biggest point, and I've talked with Lieutenant Governor, I was at a conference late last year, and I was talking with the Lieutenant Governor, and tires was one of the things that came up, and I think one of the problems with that is because it still costs the municipality to get rid of them, and it's not cheap. And then at one point, because we have a pile of them at Public Works that we need to get rid of, and every once in a while, on a rainy day, Wesley will load up, you know, 5 or 6 employees in a couple of trucks and haul them to the deal, and
It
5
even-
per person.
It
But
even costs more because they end up throwing them in the ditches. We hit them with the tractors. I mean, it is a serious problem in our city, all over, but if they just took the tires, it would eliminate a lot more damage done if they just took the tires and did away with them. I mean, is there something that the city can do where they draft something to go to the police jury to ask them to increase that number, or take at least all the ones that we can round up in the city, and at least that way we can get ahead of it?
There's also state law about how many tires one person can haul, because we asked if we could fill up the grappler truck with tires and bring them to Scott, but that company will not accept them if we drive up with them like that, because the state law does not allow, we don't have a license to haul tires. There's just so many laws that prevent us from doing certain things, and it's tough, but we're gonna keep working on it. I think educating the public that they don't have to throw them in a ditch, they don't have to throw them in a neighbor's yard. We have a place on First Street, as you well know, that they dumped a bunch of tires on First Street.
Yes.
They can literally drop them off for free at the recycle place here in Crowley. 5 per person per day. We all have friends, load up some friends, as long as they have a Acadia Parish driver's license, address on their driver's license.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm gonna try to find out who grinds them up, because they are a hot commodity. We actually buy those after they grind them so we can put on top the turf. So maybe if we can eliminate the middleman and find out who's doing the grinding of the tires, then we can figure out where to bring them.
I promise you, again, attending the Keep Louisiana Beautiful stuff with the Lieutenant Governor, and we're not the only city. I mean, everybody has that problem. I mean, there are dump sites that have been dealt with around the state with tens of thousands of tires in dump sites, whether it be tire companies that were disposing illegally, or there's a lot of different reasons why these sites were found throughout the state, and other states the same thing. Getting rid of tires it's a problem.
Yes. Step, you had something, I'm sorry?
Seems like, and Mayor, with all due respect, don't you ever bring my daughter into a conversation again. If you got a problem, no, I'm letting you know now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you were out of, I don't care, look, you got somewhere
Yes,
to go
sir.
get your butt to moving. Okay.
Yes.
You just heard what I said.
Okay, order.
Hey.
Old
Go-
man, stay in your lane.
Mr. Martin, attack me, leave the
No, I'm
council
not
alone.
attacking, I'm
Keep
just
going.
giving you
Keep going.
a fact.
Yes, sir.
When it come down to my daughter,
Yes, sir.
nobody, I don't give a damn who you are.
Step.
Yes.
Step.
No, but enough is enough.
Step,
He brought it here.
step,
Okay,
it's
all
not-
right, here we go.
it's not an agenda
Marty,
item.
Now, it seems like I'm not the only one using Facebook. We got a few questions here for you. First of all, who's Green Angel Lawn Care? Who is that?
Marty doesn't have anything to do with that. That's a question from me. Marty can't answer that question, Mr. Martin.
I don't know who that
Marty?
is, Mr.
Okay,
Martin.
if you don't mind, you could just tell me, I don't know,
Yeah,
but you can ask the
yes,
mayor,
sir.
and then I'll refer to
There
you.
you go. Yeah, so I don't know who Green
Okay.
Angel Lawn Care
Okay.
is, yeah.
Mayor, who is Green Angel Lawn Care?
Green Angel Lawn Care is a DBA of Abear Pro Services, who has been hired to cut the cemetery in South Crowley.
Where are they from?
They reside in Jennings. The owner of the business is actually a Acadia Parish Sheriff's
Just ask
deputy.
where they from. We good, thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay. I had asked for a list of all of the person that put in a bid for the, I'm just telling you what I have here. Mm-hmm. Put in a bid to cut the graveyard, and I didn't receive that, okay?
You didn't ask me for it.
No, well, no, wait, hold it. I asked your clerk.
You never asked me
I
for
asked
it.
your clerk, okay? Now, okay, so,
My clerk doesn't have those bids, Mr. Martin.
I just
Those
said,
quotes.
I asked your clerk, okay? If that would have been a situation, all she had to say was, I don't have it, whatever, okay, good enough with that. Okay, next question. Okay, why were city workers out there cutting.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I need to get on with the agenda.
All right,
items.
man, hey, listen,
And if you want to
Oh,
maybe talk about this during.
Mr. Court, please let him
Look,
ask those questions.
these are
'cause-
questions from constituents.
Yeah, he's,
Look.
I would love to answer all of his
Well,
questions
there
if you don't
go.
mind.
Well, that's
Okay,
not my
gotcha.
question. I'm asking a question.
Okay.
Okay. Why would city workers helping someone that had a bid and were they paid by the contractor?
Okay?
Okay.
So,
Were they on city dime? I guess that's what they want to know.
okay, so let me explain the thing with the cemetery so that you'll
Man, a yes or
understand.
no?
The previous contractor messaged me when it was time to cut the grass and said that he was not able to get any employees, and so he would not be able to do it. That was the 2-week mark after it had started growing, and it needed to be cut. As the mayor, I have the right, without your permission, to hire anyone I want to cut that grass. It's a service, so it does not require any quotes or bids or anything, but
Point of order.
I felt it, Mr. Martin, this is out of order. You asked the question out of order, so I'm going to answer it.
No,
So I
have
thought
the
it
floor.
was important to spend the money wisely, so I asked for quotes. I put it out for quotes. And I took the lowest quote. That person did not have liability insurance. I gave her a couple of days to get liability insurance. When I talked with her on Tuesday morning, she still did not, and so I told her I could not do it.
What was the quote?
Oh, 1175, something like that, or 13, something like that. I don't remember exactly. I don't have it with me. So then I went to the next one, which is who is currently doing it. That contractor sent me their occupational license, their insurance, their W-9. They sent me all the information they needed when they sent in the quote. And so they were ready to go. However, that was Tuesday last week, and he wasn't sure that he would be able to get to it that week. And so I said, well, we really need to get this cut. I mean, it's beyond time. So I asked the street department if they would be able to go and start cutting it. Now, the street department, the prior 2 weeks, because I know your next question, the street department, the prior 2 weeks, had been working on a couple of big jobs that they needed to complete, plus their normally scheduled grass cutting schedule every week in parks and medians and every other thing that they have to do. Wesley stands up there every month saying that they got more to do than they got employees to do. So they were not available to do the cemetery then. When they were available to do it, we sent them. They showed up there on Wednesday morning, and an hour and a half later, the contractor showed up, which was a good thing because the city employees did not have 3 days to spend in that cemetery cutting that grass. So the city employees did cut some grass in that cemetery that day, and the contractors took over and continued the next 2 days following that.
You finished?
Does that answer your question?
Information with no information. The
Oh.
question was, did they get paid by the contractor? That was the question.
No, they are city employees who got paid by the city to cut the city's cemetery,
Okay, that's all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
just as they
So-
done many a times.
Okay, so
Mayor-
it wasn't on city dime. Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to move on with my committee.
That's your committee, go
Well,
ahead.
you know what, just go ahead.
Thank
Just
you,
go ahead.
Steph.
Go ahead.
Okay, on the action items, we have to consider the following new applications for 2026 beer and liquor licenses. The first is Fat Daddy's Cajun Foods LLC located at 518 Southeastern Avenue, and they have applied for a 2026 Class A retail beer permit. Chief, I think you have the application signed. Okay.
Yes.
And I so move to have this presented to the full council for consideration. Do I have a second? seconded by Alderman Wildridge. Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And the second application is DUPS, located at 1426 North Parkinson Avenue for a 2026 Class A retail beer permit. And as I understand, this is the former Burger Zone restaurant? Okay. And Chief, I see that you've also signed this application along with the clerk and the city inspector. And I would like to move to approve, have this for consideration at the council meeting for approval. Moved by Alderman Dorey, seconded by Alderman Ashby. Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. The second action item that we have is to amend, let's see, an ordinance to amend and reenact section 14-1 of Article 1 of Chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Crowley, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, to provide a penalty for the offense of failure to yield to pedestrians in a crosswalk in violation of Louisiana Revised Statute 32:212, and to order the placement of a crosswalk designated by appropriate striping on Mill Street at one or more locations to facilitate safe pedestrian crossing from the offices and parking areas of Supreme Rice Mill located south of Mill Street to its facilities located north of Mill Street, together with appropriate signage and/or traffic control devices, to repeal all ordinances or parts of ordinances contrary thereto and or in conflict therewith, and to provide for all matters relative thereto. And the motion is to move this as an introduction of the ordinance at next week's council meeting. And I'll so move, and seconded by Alderman Reggie. Discussion?
Do you think that $100 is good enough for a fine? Because I've been almost hit by a car, and I don't think $100 is good enough.
100 is the minimum.
Oh, that's the minimum? So it could go up to,
100 to 500.
I'd feel better at,
Well, we could certainly, sure.
But- And is that something that they can amend next week also? Because we were also asked about Carmichael's, because between Carmichael's and the parking lot that the employees park at.
Yes.
They asked for a crosswalk there also on 10th Street.
Sure.
We can address that at full council.
So Mr. Landry will add
I
that.
guess my other question would be, what about downtown? Because the cars don't stop downtown. If you go across the street, they're gonna run you over.
So are those striped?
No, because
No.
they got the bricks. So I don't know if it need to be striped or if there just needs to be a sign saying
Mike,
that.
put your mic on.
Slow down.
You have to alert people.
Technically speaking, pedestrians have a right-of-way at an intersectional crossing, but certainly you have a whole lot more teeth if you have some sort of striping or signage or something that indicates that it's, that motorists have a duty to yield.
But I would recommend that we, any additions, amendments, maybe we can discuss that or have those available for next week's meeting. Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we go to discussion items. Discussion of reported nuisance activities near a residential property in the Hockaday Heights subdivision, including applicable public nuisance provisions, enforcement authority, and available remedies. To give you some background, residents of the Hockaday Heights subdivision have once again contacted me regarding ongoing nuisance activities involving an individual who resides near their homes. According to the residents, the police department has responded to numerous calls for service concerning these complaints over the course of several years. While those responses have addressed individual incidents, the underlying concerns remain unresolved and the reported nuisance activities continue. The affected residents are requesting that the city consider any lawful remedies available to the police department or the city council that may help address these recurrent issues, protect the peaceful enjoyment of neighboring properties, and promote the safety and well-being of families and children who live there. I thought that we would have someone here in the neighborhood that wanted to speak, but apparently they may have left. I would also like to note that residents of 1107 Crawford Avenue previously appeared before the council to express concerns involving the same individual and similar reported activities. I would like to hear suggestions from our chief of police and city attorney regarding the city's enforcement authority, the applicable public nuisance provisions, and any legal or practical remedies that may be available to address these ongoing concerns.
Before they answer.
Sure.
Can you give us an idea of what's going on? Because what I may think is a nuisance may not be
Right.
a nuisance to someone else. So just some idea of what's going on.
Chief, I think, had pulled the complaint list over the last 2 or 3 years. And without mentioning the individual's name, but he may be able to review, he was provided with the list of the types of complaints.
It's, a lot of the complaints are due to like a, mental issues, could be drug induced too, where the person kind of has an episode, does different things, where the police are called, outbursts, maybe even getting naked, different things that they do. And we go out there sometimes, it could be, you know, some of that stuff could be misdemeanor violations that have been committed. But most of the time they get, we'll have to call for the ambulance to come and get them, and they end up taken to the hospital where they go through this process where they may PEC them or hold them for so many hours, and then, you know, a doctor makes that determination whether or not they're released and stuff. And normally, most of the time, these patients are being released 72 hours later. Misdemeanor violations, we struggle with that all the time as far as for being able to incarcerate them. It's a big problem for the city. It's a big problem with our thefts. That has been going on my whole administration time here in the city, and I do plan on addressing that in the future by bringing our jail back to where there's some kind of accountability instead of us issuing citations, because citations aren't really doing any good, which has been a big issue for us and why we have not been able to reduce our thefts the way they should. But it also applies to different things like this too. You know, we take somebody, if they drug induced, the jail won't take them. You know, the most we can do is bring them to the hospital and get them evaluated. And they only hold them for so long and they release them. It's out of our hands. You know, I mean, there's nothing that we can do further. It's a complicated issue. There is, you know, certain things that the family can do. You know, in fact, I had to call to find out what it was. But so it's kind of like a power of attorney. The judge, our city attorney can probably address it. I don't know if he's heard of what's called interdiction, where the parent can apply for it and get total control over that person, but it basically takes all rights away from that person, and to where the parents would have total control. And that would be more or less, you know, me getting with the parents on it, of that individual, but that individual is of age. And I'm not sure the parents are on board of doing that either. I did speak to the landlord about it, you know, and he is concerned about obligations to, you know, he's got laws, just like, you know, Chuck, you just can't, you know, put somebody out because of a handicap or illness. So he's got concerns there also, which are really good concerns, you know, because he just can't put somebody out because of that illness. And, you know, it is a problem in the neighborhood. It has been for quite some time. I truly wish, we truly had answers to fix it, I am gonna try to meet with the parents and talk with them and, kinda explain our concerns and the, how dangerous it is because, this person may flip out and just go and open somebody else's door and end up getting shot. So, there is a real concern for the problem, and I do understand the neighbors' concern. They're very concerned, they scared, and have good reason to be.
And this has been going on for years, Chuck. Several years ago, this same individual knocked on my neighbor's door across the street and had a barely clad clothes. I mean, you could see right through it. Children saw her, the police were called, picked her up, and she's still out there. That's probably 3 or 4 years ago. So it's not an isolated location, and as the landlord indicated to me, well, if I move her somewhere else, the problem's is not resolved. It's just for those neighbors. I also looked at other cities that have, and with our code enforcement director, about nuisance ordinances. And although those are, some cities have them, the American Civil Liberties Union has a website that, if someone has been complained about with police reports and any ordinances was because of their multiple offenses, then they want these individuals to write to the ACLU about the issues they've encountered, and apparently to go after a city that has those ordinances that you're violating those people's rights, regardless of the fact that that individual is violating the peace and harmony of all the neighboring residents. So it's I find it's a difficult issue, but Michael, please chime in because.
Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot more answers than you've given. I mean, it is a difficult issue, as everyone has said. Theoretically, a landlord can be found to be harboring a nuisance if they allow certain activities on their property. I don't know that this fits squarely within that. I'm sure a lot of these incidences are occurring off the property, and that's why they're a problem. And I don't think the landlord is really responsible for that. I mean, how far off the property are they responsible? If it knocks on the neighbor's door, is that the landlord's problem? If they knock 3 doors down, or if they knock over here at City Hall, that's still the landlord's problem. So it's a difficult issue. As you said, if the landlord evicts her, it just becomes someone else's problem. It doesn't resolve the problem. It just moves the problem. In terms of, I think the real issue, and Troy pointed out, is really intervention from the family. I don't know the family. Maybe the family doesn't want to shoulder that burden, and I can't say I blame them, but it's difficult from that perspective as well. As far as an interdiction, so an interdiction is a legal proceeding to have someone legally declared to be incompetent. That doesn't really solve the issue because she's still got to live somewhere. I mean, just because she can't write a contract for herself or agree to things doesn't mean she doesn't have to have a roof overhead, and that roof's going to be somewhere. As far as medical PEC, like Chief said, and civil commitments, generally speaking, you can hold someone for 72 hours. Then they have to be released. They can extend it, but even when they extend it, I think they can extend it another 10 days or maybe 2 weeks. But again, that's just a temporary fix. It's just a really difficult issue. I mean, I think honestly, the only real solution to what's going on is intervention from law enforcement. And even that's of limited value, not limited value, it's of limited good in a situation like this, because most of these offenses are misdemeanor offenses, and there's only so much you can do, or so much that will happen to someone who's guilty of misdemeanor offenses. The days when they would throw someone in jail for 30 days for disturbing the peace are over. I mean, that just doesn't occur anymore. And those remedies, for the most part, just aren't available to a judge who is, who's motivated to fix a problem. So it's a terrible situation, and I feel for the neighbors. My advice to the neighbors would be, when you see anything, report it, and that's all you can do.
And that's what they've been doing, but again, it's only a temporary fix, and,
Right.
and I don't know the details of,
Yeah, very temporary.
Yeah, I mean,
Other than, putting a person, like at, for instance, they have Compass that where somebody that can't live on their own does have a place, for them, but that would have to be basically the family stepping in and getting that done.
And I think part of the problem here is, and again, I don't know these people, but just from what I understand and speaking with different people, I think it's an intermittent problem. I mean, it's occurring often, and has occurred often over a long period of time. But I think, as Troy alluded to, perhaps it has to do with, taking medications or failure to take medications. And so it's not a constant situation. And so, like, in terms of an interdiction, if someone, and I'm not saying this about this particular person, but, if someone takes some drugs and has an adverse reaction, whether it be prescribed drugs or illegal drugs, and they, completely lose it for 24 hours and do all kinds of crazy stuff, that doesn't entitle you to interdict them. I mean, an interdiction is that person is permanently incapable, or they're unable to care for their person or property. And that doesn't seem to be the case here. I mean, this seems to be, and again, I have no idea. I don't know if it's a mental health issue. I don't know if it's a drug issue. I don't know, or a combination of all those things, or maybe none of the above. I have no idea.
Right.
But it seems to be an intermittent situation, which may not fit squarely within an interdiction situation. Right. Again, I think the family is really the resource that's best, the best solution to the problem. But you have to have a willing family member to step in,
and that's always a difficult
Sure,
situation.
sure. I mean, that's a
Many
difficult
times.
decision for a parent to make.
Yes.
And I will try to meet with the parent and, speak with them on that and see if we can come up with something, because I am concerned that, this person does do something crazy and maybe opens somebody's door or something and ends up getting shot.
Absolutely.
It is a dangerous situation, and, I definitely would like to, get it resolved if I could, I do plan on meeting or trying to set up a meeting with the, guardians of that person at one time.
Thank you, Chief. I think Alderwoman Chasson had a comment.
The only thing I was going to say, years ago, there was a state facility that would deal with mental health issues, and when that budget was cut, with the exception of Compass and maybe something what else is available to help those people? And as we talk in a circle, there really is no answer. I see that as a problem.
Yes. Any other comments, suggestions? Well, Chief, I hope you can make some progress. One thing I did mention to the landlord, and that going forward, maybe with leases to tenants, if you have something, a provision where you're renting a property and the police are called so many times within the calendar year for disturbances, that relates to their activity, of course, then the lease can be terminated and they would have to vacate the property as a contractual agreement between the landlord and the tenant. But I'm no attorney, but I do read a lot of leases often, and I've seen that language sometimes. Nothing that the city can do, of course, to require a landlord to have that provision, but to just wanted to just point that out, that may be something that.
And I mean, I think a lot of our local landlords probably have a month-to-month lease, or they have a year lease that doesn't get renewed and then it becomes a month-to-month lease. So I mean, typically a landlord, if they're in a month-to-month situation, as long as they give the proper notices, can evict someone on relatively short notice anytime they want. Again, it's just a difficult situation.
It is, because it's the basis for the eviction is the concern to them regarding their medical.
It is a concern to the landlord because of the mental health condition and you know,
and
fair
federal-
housing laws, and
Which are
as you
federal
mentioned,
laws
ACLU.
that, you
and-
know,
Right.
that are heard at federal court, not district court,
Right.
city court. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, I think that will wrap up the discussion. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address the committee? Please state your name, and you have 3 minutes, please.
I promise I won't just talk and talk and talk, even though I thought that you guys had maybe lengthened the amount of discussion that we could have after the last meeting. Good evening, Mayor, Council. For nearly 15 years, I have followed code enforcement in Crowley because I believe housing and safe housing depends on consistent enforcement and accountability. The only way citizens can verify that government is doing its job is through public records. Over the last year, I've encountered a problem that I believe this council, particularly this committee, needs to address. I've requested building permits, inspection records, and code enforcement records, but instead of receiving the records or a meaningful explanation, I have repeatedly been told that records cannot be produced because of the city's retention policy, because of software transition, or that the city doesn't even know whether records ever existed. So I'm not really sure I understand what's going on, and I've exercised my right under the public records law to ask questions about where these records are, who's had them last, etc., but the city doesn't answer me. So I'm not requesting records from 20 or 30 years ago. I'm requesting records in the case just this week from 2024. The city's own approved record retention schedule states that building permit applications are retained for at least 3 years. Building plans and other permits are retained for even longer. I've also been told that records no longer exist because of the retention policy, yet when I later produced copies of some of those records myself, city officials told me that they had never seen them before. So tonight I'm asking this committee to help me understand what's going on with the permits. How does a retention policy tell the city whether a specific record ever existed? How does it tell the city whether a record was lawfully destroyed, lost during the software transition, or simply cannot be located? And if the city cannot answer those questions, what steps is it taking to determine what happened to records that citizens have a right to inspect? I am not asking anyone to agree with me. I know several of you don't. What I'm asking is for the city to explain, where are these records? Because if the city cannot account for permit inspections and code enforcement records that should still be available, then this isn't just about one public record request. It's about whether the people of Crowley can have confidence in the integrity of their government's records. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Richard. Any questions for Ms. Richard? None? Thank you. Okay, I think that will, for the committee. Okay, with that being said, we will recess.
Thank you, sir. Public Buildings, Alderman Wilridge, please, sir.
Public Buildings Committee convened Tuesday, July the 14th, 2026, at 5 p.m. in the council's chambers where the quorum present. Under action items, number 1, to approve the request of Dr. Zoe Proctor with the National Association of University Women's EIN number 23-720-7738 for the city of Crowley to partner with them by donating the use of the MAK Center on August the 13th at 6 p.m. for the Back to School Supply Drive giveaway. The National Association of University Women is a nonprofit organization and in good standards, and I so move. Was offered by me, second by Mr. Dorey. All in favor? Nays, you have the same right. Any discussion? There be no discussion, so we'll move on. Item number 2, to approve the city of Crowley to co-sponsor the Crowley Boxing Club EIN number 20-330-0981 on August the 1st at 2026 by waiving the cleanup fees for the Rice Festival building. The Crowley Boxing Club is a nonprofit organization and in good standards. Offered by me and second, but we know a time on that, 1 o'clock or? Yeah, all day, yeah, I mean, I've been to it before. Offered by me, second by Simon.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays, you have the same right. Motion carried. Is there any discussion coming before public business? Yes, Mr. Morton.
As y'all know, and I don't know if you do know, we've been planning an outdoor activity for the kids for the last 3 weeks, and weather just God's doing God. At one time, we had bingo for the elderly and, well, pretty much. I'm asking this council, it's already been determined that as long as the building's open and there's no charge for anything, I'm asking for use of the building on a Monday night, Chief. Instead of doing skating with the kids, we have the bingo for the kids and the elderly. And I would like to start it off in Byron, probably at about, open the doors at about 4 that evening and shut it down to be determined maybe a couple hours afterwards, once the everyone has eaten and all of the prizes has been awarded. It would, like I say, be open to everyone. There'll be no charge for it. We will feed them as well. And that's pretty much where we at right now. I need to get with you two and see what Monday. At least we're gonna need at least a week of advertisement for sure with that. And it's the same as we done a while back the last time. It was during the hours of operation, so it's no need for any overtime or whatever is needed. And we'll make sure that everything is clean as well. Well, I was thinking because the kid would be off of school. I mean, that's up to you, whatever day. I mean.
I was just wondering.
Right. Right. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure when you get to tell them they're gonna be winning free prizes, they're gonna put them skates and basketballs up.
So Step, this would be at the same time when the skating event?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, instead of doing the skating, and who knows, it might end early enough. Well, they might have a little time to skate, you know? We'll move the tables and whatever. But it's something that I feel the kids need. They're about to go back to school. And we've been wanting to do it on the outside, but, well, y'all know every weekend is the mud or what have you. So that's pretty much what I am asking. And if it's amenable to everybody. I'm not on the committee, so.
You got anything, Mr. Steve? You was, can we move that to next week? I mean, is it gonna be a discussion item or actually going to action?
No, it has to be an action. I don't know,
I don't,
An action item before the committee, you'd have to amend the committee
Right,
agenda.
exactly.
Place it on the agenda,
Right.
and then,
Right.
motion second and a vote.
Yeah,
Right.
I do that.
here's what I wanna caution, and I'm not against it. I know I'm going to be claimed I'm against it, but the last few times this was done, this was advertised as being sponsored by 4 elected officials in an election year.
I never one time said anything about a sponsor.
And
by
hold
elected
on,
officials.
Mr. Martin, I wanna explain this. And there's advertisement of half and half being sold, and we cannot, the council can, y'all can approve whatever y'all want to approve, but you can't legally approve a event that is sponsored by a political candidate, especially in
anything about a political candidate.
especially in an election year, especially with half and half tickets being sold
What are you talking
in a
about?
city building. It just isn't a good thing to
Where
do.
did you get a half and half ticket from?
So I would just ask that you look at it and not say it's sponsored basically by anybody, and just do it. Yes, during normal operation hours, and it would be just basically like the skating. It just happens there during normal hours. But I would suggest that there be no advertisement of sponsored by anyone, especially elected officials, especially in an election year, because it really looks as though it's a political thing. So I just out of pure caution.
Point of order. Did I mention anything about elected official?
No, you did not, but.
Okay.
You didn't mention
just,
anything about that. I just want to make
reference
sure
that the mayor make it
the
sure.
last couple of times, that's what it was, and it I just want to caution y'all.
Yes, sir. There being no more further business to come before public business, we recess.
Thank you, sir. Insurance and I'm sorry.
The answer is no.
I don't think it's an issue, and I don't think there needs to be a vote for it. It's, as long as it's not, I mean, it's an event that, it's an activity that's happening at the Martin Luther King Center. The Martin Luther King Center is a community center where the public goes and they skate and they play basketball. You know, they practice dance sometimes over there. They have a yoga class over there sometimes. All of this stuff free of charge to the people. It doesn't cost the public anything. And so I don't think it needs to be voted on. I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands what it looks like. The last couple of times that were advertised, there were 4 elected officials who were sponsoring a bingo with a half and half. It was on the flyer, half and half will be sold. And so that can't happen that way. That's not legal to happen that way. And so for them to have bingo there, sure, it's just a group of citizens gathering and they're playing bingo. There's no money exchanged, there's no sponsors, there's nobody renting the building. It's a community center that the citizens are going to utilize.
So there is no money gonna be exchanged. I just
There
wanna make
can't be,
sure. 'cause
not,
I
there
wanna
can't
make-
be. Because bingo, I mean, there's state laws with bingo. They certainly can't exchange no
Okay.
money.
Let me make it clear. People donate, just like anybody on this council can say, man, I want to donate towards the food. Okay? That's a tangible, edible, they're not leaving there with, well, some of them may, okay? But to say that it's assumable, but you know what assume start with, okay? I never mentioned one time that it was elected officials. All I said was bingo for the kids and the elderly. Well, I don't know what train you riding on, but it's not the same train on my track. Okay, every time something dealing in our district, you come with synopsis that's not germane to the subject. Okay, every time. So, you know, the old saying in life is very simple. Say what you got to say, but
I did.
understand that because what you say is not law. Okay? And once again, with all due respect, this body here is of elected officials, except with the appointment of a few people in here. And I'm going to ask you again, do not bring any of my family members into any conversation we have.
Simply repeated what the people told me.
I don't care what the people, no, you made the statement about my
Yes,
daughter.
that's what the
Okay.
people told me why they
You keep saying
didn't
the
want to
people,
speak.
why don't you announce the people?
No, I'm not.
Well,
Just
what-
like you never announce anybody's name when you say the people called you, I'm
I ain't
not
got no
announcing
problem
those
saying it.
people's names. I'm not announcing those people's names. I'm sorry.
I got something else I'd like to bring up too. I mean, I hate to cut y'all off, but,
You couldn't hear me before.
what it is, we haven't splashed with the badge August 1st, and I forgot to mention that in my, thing, but I want to make sure there's no problems with us using the building.
It's the Crowley Police Department and the fire department doing
Yeah,
that, yeah.
we teaming up together to have a big thing for the kids. We're gonna have, slides, fun jumps, different activities for the kids. We're gonna provide them with food and different things. We encourage everybody to come out, enjoy it. It's totally free, at the pavilion. I think it's from 11.
Hold on.
It might be 1 o'clock, but, if you can pull it up real quick. It's been a while since I posted it again, but I need to start again. But we are expecting a lot of people. August the 1st.
August the 1st?
Yes, I think it's from 1 to 4, if
Yeah,
I'm not
1
mistaken.
I think
1
it's
p.m.
wonderful.
Yeah, 1 to 4. We're gonna feed them food, drinks, snow cones, different things we're gonna do for the kids. We wanna make it a big family event. You know, fire department's gonna team up with us. We're gonna, we all gonna pitch in and make sure these kids are taken care of while they're there. But we making it a family event. Parents are definitely, we definitely want the parents to come out. We wanna do stuff in the community for the kids, and the families. So we encourage all y'all to be there and definitely, spread the word for us. We're looking for a major turnout.
Insurance and personnel, Alderwoman Chasson, please.
Thank you very much. You know, I'm always at the end when y'all are all looking at me like, hurry up. So the Insurance and Personnel Committee will come to order. There is a quorum present. There are no action items and no discussion items unless someone has something that needs to be discussed. With that, the Insurance and Personnel Committee will recess.
And now you're next again
Now
with
it's me.
Community and Economic Development.
Exactly. Then y'all are still looking at me.
We're still looking at you.
Okay. So the Community and Economic Development Committee will come to order, and there is a quorum present for this. And I do have a number of things that I need to remind you of, so just hold on to your seats. So, the City of Crowley Tourism Director, the Red, Rice, and Blue event at the Urban Park and Pavilion were well attended, and many people enjoyed the fireworks and the music throughout the day. Much appreciation to the Clem and Jane Swear Memorial Fund and other sponsors and participants for sponsoring this. Crowley Main Street and downtown merchants will be hosting Christmas in July, a sidewalk shopping event that's this Saturday, July 18th from 10 until 2. Plan to be there and find some good bargains. Planning is also in progress for Kids Day, and that's going to be September 26th. From the Acadia Parish Chamber of Commerce, Thursday, July 16th, the Acadia Quarterly Breakfast, AI for Small Business Marketing Session at the Main Street Patio. Doors open at 7:30 in the morning. The program will begin at 8. On Friday, September 25th, they're holding the Women in Leadership Luncheon on the 3rd floor at the Grand Opera House of the South. And she told me 9:30 a.m., so I'm not certain if that time is correct. But the date, September 25th. And they also gave us dates for their Big Four events coming up throughout the next year. October 31st is the 22nd Annual Gumbo Cook-Off. January 14th, 2027, the Farmers Appreciation Dinner. The Annual Golf Classic will be April 9th, and May 6th will be the Acadia Parish Honors. There's a reminder that the United Way of Acadiana stuffed the bus 2026 Teacher Supply Drive is going on now through August 6th. Donations for this can be dropped off at the Acadia Parish Chamber and Economic Development Office at the Court Circle or the Acadia Parish Library. The Crowley Garden Club is in recess until September. The West Crowley Beautification Committee, Dr. Izora Proctor notes that they are calling the Acadia Parish Police Jury trash truck to pick up bulk trash when they see that sitting beside the streets. She also met with a group of adults and children who frequent the Martin Luther King Park often to discuss how they, as a team, can keep the park clean for all to enjoy. In essence, whenever they are in the park, they are told to pick up bottles, chicken boxes, chip bags, and other trash, walk over to the trash can and put it in there. The group is part of the West Crowley Cleanup Team. The Push Pray Until Something Happens team prays for our Crowley mayor, aldermen, alderwomen, city workers, city staff, and Crowley residents throughout each day of the month, and we all surely appreciate that. The City of Crowley Historic Commission, the next meeting will be tomorrow, July 15th at 5 p.m. And from Crowley Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, they've completed the majority of their community and economic development projects for this sorority cycle, and they will reconvene in September, which is coming quicker than we actually realize. There are no action items. Are there any discussion items? With that, the committee will recess.
Thank you, ma'am. Revenue and Finance, Alderman Lachele.
Thank you, Mayor. The Revenue Finance Committee convenes. It's called to order. We have a quorum present. Under reports, we have none. Under action items, we have none. We have no discussion items listed. Is there any discussion to come before the committee? One question.
You said you are gonna have the budget possibly next week, or?
Yes, for.
Yes.
Would y'all
to-
email that to us?
We
Like a
can,
PDF?
we can, yeah, certainly.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yes, we can
All right,
PDF it.
Okay. With no other items to come before the committee, the committee recesses.
Thank you, sir. We're done. Or y'all are done.